In the heart of Middle-earth, where the world grows old and memory lingers like morning mist upon still water, there lies a realm touched neither by the hurried footsteps of mortals, nor by the decay that claims all things beneath the sun. This is Lothlórien, the Golden Wood, a sanctuary woven from starlight and song, where time moves differently, where the very air seems to remember ages long forgotten. Here the malon trees rise like pillars of living silver, their bark pale as moonlight, their leaves a shimmering gold that catches even the faintest breath of wind and turns it into music. Listen, can you hear it? The gentle rustling like whispered secrets passed between ancient friends, a sound that has echoed unchanged through countless turnings of the seasons. These trees do not grow anywhere else in all the wide world save in this protected realm, and they have stood here since the elder days, when the stars were young and brighter than they are now. The forest floor is soft beneath your feet, carpeted with grass that remains green even in the depth of winter, and small white flowers that glow faintly in the darkness, like fallen stars that have taken root in the earth. The paths wind gently between the great trees, unhurried, as if they know that all who walk here have already arrived at the only destination that matters, a place of peace, of respite, of momentary shelter from the troubles that plague the world beyond these borders. And above, oh, above, the platforms and flets rest among the high branches, dwelling places built not upon the ground but cradled in the arms of the malon trees themselves, reached by winding stairs that spiral up and up into the golden canopy. From these heights one can see the forest spreading in all directions, a sea of gold beneath the silver stars, and one can feel, perhaps for the first time in many long and weary miles, truly safe. Through this realm runs the celebrant, the silver lode, a river that catches the light of moon and star and holds it like liquid silver flowing endlessly toward the sea. Its waters are clear and cold, speaking always of the distant mountains from which they spring, and its voice is a constant companion to those who dwell in Lórien, a soft rushing, a gentle murmur, the sound of water remembering its ancient course. This is the domain of the Lady Galadriel and the Lord Celeborn, the last great realm of the Elves in Middle-earth, a place where the power of the firstborn still holds sway, where the shadow has not yet reached, though it presses ever closer with each passing year. Now let us pause here by this stream that feeds into the greater river, and let us breathe in the night air of Lothlórien. It is cool and clean, carrying with it the scent of Eleanor and Nifredil, the pale flowers that grow only in this blessed wood. The stars above are clear and bright, sharper than they appear in other lands, for here there is no smoke, no shadow to dim their ancient light. These are the same stars that shone upon the Elves when they first awakened beside the waters of Cuiviénen, at the very beginning of their story, before the sun and moon had even risen into the sky. Time moves strangely here. Days may pass, or weeks, and yet it seems like only a single evening, a single beautiful, endless twilight. This is the gift and the sorrow of Lothlórien, that it preserves what was, that it holds back the inevitable fading, but only for a little while, only for a little while. And in the heart of this realm, in a glade where the starlight falls most clearly and the trees stand as silent witnesses, there dwells the Lady Galadriel. She is old beyond reckoning, though her beauty has not diminished with the countless centuries. She was born in Valinor, in the undying lands across the western sea, before the sun first rose, before the moon traced its silver path across the heavens. She has seen the two trees of Valinor in their glory, Telperion and Laurelin, the silver and the gold, whose light was the light of the world before the sun and moon were made. She remembers the music of their radiance, how it waxed and waned in gentle rhythm, blessing and illuminating all things. And yet she chose to leave that paradise. She chose to cross the sea and come to Middle-earth, drawn by a desire to explore, to have a realm of her own, to shape the world according to her own vision. There was pride in that choice, perhaps, but also courage, and a deep love for the lands and peoples that would grow and flourish here, far from the unchanging perfection of Valinor. Through all the long ages of Middle-earth she has remained, through the glory of the great elven kingdoms of the First Age, through their terrible destruction in the wars against Morgoth, through the rise and fall of realms and the fading of her people one by one, as they sailed westward back to Valinor, unable to bear any longer the weight of time and loss in mortal lands. She has seen so much. She has loved and lost. She has fought in battles whose names are now only remembered in the oldest songs. She has witnessed the forging of the rings of power and understood too late the deception that lay behind their making. For she herself bears one of the 3 rings made for the elven lords, Nenya, the ring of water, the ring of adamant, set with a white stone that shines with its own inner light. This ring is the source of her power, the means by which Lothlórien is preserved and protected, kept green and fair, while the rest of the world ages and decays. But the rings are bound together, all of them linked by the secret craft of Sauron, who forged the one ring to rule them all. And so Galadriel's power and the preservation of Lothlórien is tied to the very evil that threatens to overwhelm the world. If the one ring is destroyed, all the other rings lose their power, and Lothlórien will fade. If the One Ring is not destroyed, Sauron will triumph, and Lothlórien will fall to darkness. This is the terrible choice that weighs upon her. This is the knowledge she carries in her heart, that one way or another her realm is doomed. All she can do is hold back the inevitable for a little while longer and offer what aid she can to those who still fight against the shadow. She is tall and beautiful, her hair like golden sunlight touched with silver, and her eyes are deep and luminous, holding within them both great kindness and great power. To meet her gaze is to feel seen completely, understood utterly, as if all your thoughts and all your history were laid bare before her. Some find this comforting, others find it terrifying. For Galadriel sees not only who you are, but who you might become, and all the paths that branch out before you into the uncertain future. She moves through her realm with quiet grace, a presence both gentle and commanding like the forest itself, beautiful and welcoming, but also ancient and untamed, holding secrets that mortal minds can barely comprehend. It is to this lady that the Fellowship comes, weary and grieving, after their terrible passage through the mines of Moria, where they lost Gandalf to the darkness and the flame. They are welcomed here, given rest and shelter, offered the healing peace of Lothlórien after so much hardship and fear. Among them are 2 hobbits, Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee, simple folk from the Shire, far to the north, a land of rolling green hills and comfortable hobbit holes, where the greatest concerns are the timing of harvest and the quality of the local ale. They are so far from home now, so far from anything they have ever known, and yet they continue on, driven by a burden neither of them fully understands. For Frodo carries the One Ring, that terrible golden band, deceptively small, deceptively simple in appearance, hangs upon a chain around his neck, hidden beneath his shirt, pressing always against his heart. It is heavy, though it weighs almost nothing. It is cold, though it seems to burn. And it whispers, constantly whispers, though not in words, offering power, offering dominion, offering escape from all fear and all pain. If only he would claim it, if only he would use it. And Galadriel knows. Of course she knows. From the moment the Fellowship entered her realm, she knew what Frodo carried, and she has felt its dark allure, its seductive promise, for she too could claim it. She is strong enough, wise enough, powerful enough. With the One Ring on her finger and Nenya already under her command, she could become a force to rival Sauron himself. She could protect her realm forever. She could preserve all that she loves, could halt the fading of the Elves, could shape the world according to her vision of what is good and beautiful. But she has seen enough of history to know where such thoughts lead. She has seen the corruption that comes with the desire to dominate, even when that desire is cloaked in good intentions. She knows that the ring does not grant power. It is power, yes, but it also enslaves, twists, corrupts, until even the noblest heart becomes something dark and terrible. And so she watches Frodo, and she pities him, for she understands the weight of his burden better than almost anyone else in Middle-earth. She understands the temptation he faces every moment of every day, the constant pull of the ring, urging him to take the easy path, to give in, to claim its power and be done with all this struggle. One evening, or is it night, in Lothlórien, the distinction blurs. Galadriel comes to Frodo and Sam as they walk among the trees. The air is cool and still, filled with the faint luminescence of the flowers and the distant murmur of the river. The stars are especially bright tonight, sharp points of light in the deep velvet of the sky. "Will you come with me?" she asks, and her voice is like music, gentle and clear. "There is something I would show you." They follow her, these two small hobbits, walking beside this ancient queen as if it were the most natural thing in the world. She leads them away from the others, down winding paths between the malon trees, until they come at last to a small glade, a secret place where few are permitted to enter. Here, in the center of the glade, there stands a low pedestal of white stone, simple and unadorned, and upon the pedestal rests a basin carved from the same white stone, shallow and wide, like a bird bath or a fountain without water. Beside it stands a silver ewer, a pitcher of elegant design, and nearby a small stream trickles quietly through the glade, feeding the plants and flowers that grow here in careful arrangement. This is a garden, you realize, though unlike any garden you've seen before. Everything here has been placed with intention, with artistry, creating not just beauty but meaning, a kind of poetry written in living things and flowing water. "This is the mirror of Galadriel," she says softly, gesturing to the empty basin. "It shows many things, things that were, things that are, and some things that have not yet come to pass." She moves to the stream and fills the silver ewer with water, then returns to the basin and pours it slowly, carefully, until the shallow bowl is filled with clear, still water. In the starlight, the water seems to glow faintly, as if it has captured some of the light of the stars and holds it within its depths. "Some call this seeing beyond sight," Galadriel continues, her voice quiet, almost a whisper. "But what you see even I cannot tell. The mirror shows many things, and not all of them are yet come to pass. It shows possibilities, dangers, hopes. The choice of what to heed and what to ignore is yours alone." She steps back from the basin, her hands folded, her expression serene and patient, an invitation, an offer, but also perhaps a warning. Sam steps forward first, drawn by curiosity and by simple trust in the lady who has shown them such kindness. He is a practical hobbit, Sam, a gardener by trade, more comfortable with soil and seeds than with elvish magic and ancient prophecies. But he has come so far, and he has seen so many strange and wondrous things, that one more marvel seems hardly surprising. He leans over the basin and looks into the water. At first he sees only his own reflection staring back at him, a round, honest face with curly hair and eyes full of wonder and worry. But then the reflection ripples, though there is no wind, no disturbance in the air. The water shivers and shifts, and suddenly Sam sees not himself but something else entirely. He sees the Shire, his beloved home, the land he left behind what feels like a lifetime ago. Green hills rolling gently under summer sun, hedgerows thick with wild roses, the winding lanes and comfortable hobbit holes built into the hillsides with their round doors painted cheerful colors, green and blue and yellow and red. But something is wrong. The trees, The trees are being cut down, the ancient oaks and elms that have stood for centuries are being felled, crashing to the ground in clouds of leaves and dust. The hedgerows are being torn out, the fields churned up and turned into something industrial and ugly. Brick buildings are rising where once there were only gardens and orchards. Smoke rises from chimneys, black and choking, staining the sky. And the mill, Sandyman's mill, where grain has been ground for generations, is now something else entirely, something dark and terrible, with wheels that turn constantly, grinding and crushing, filling the air with ash and noise. His home is being destroyed. Sam gasps and pulls back from the mirror, his face pale, his hands trembling. "They're destroying the Shire," he cries, "cutting down trees, tearing up everything. We have to go back, we have to stop them." Galadriel regards him with compassion, her eyes sad and knowing. "That is one of the things that may happen," she says gently. "The mirror shows many dangers. Some threats are averted, some come to pass. But you cannot return to the Shire now, Samwise Gamgee. Your path lies ahead, not behind. Only by completing the quest may any of this be prevented." Sam takes a deep breath, trying to steady himself, trying to push down the panic and fear that grips his heart. He nods slowly, though his eyes are bright with unshed tears. "I understand, my lady. I'll go on. I'll see it through." She smiles at him then, a smile of approval and affection. "You have a stout heart, Sam Gamgee. The Shire is fortunate to have such a defender." Now it is Frodo's turn. He approaches the mirror slowly, reluctantly, for he does not truly wish to see what it might show him. He has enough burdens already, enough fears haunting his waking thoughts and his dreams. But he cannot refuse the Lady Galadriel, and some part of him needs to know, needs to understand what lies ahead, even if the knowledge brings only more sorrow. He leans over the basin, gazing into the clear water. His reflection stares back at him, a small figure, pale and tired, with dark curly hair and large eyes that have seen too much. But like Sam's reflection, his own image soon fades and ripples away, replaced by visions that rise from the depths of the mirror like memories surfacing from deep water. He sees an eye, a great, terrible eye, wreathed in flame, burning with malice and endless hunger. It is searching, always searching, sweeping across the land, seeking the ring, seeking him. Frodo feels its gaze like a weight pressing down upon him, crushing the breath from his lungs. And he wants to look away, but cannot. The eye fills his vision, fills his mind, and he feels himself drowning in its malevolent attention. Then the vision shifts. He sees a tower, impossibly tall, stabbing upward into a red and angry sky. Barad-dûr, the Dark Tower, fortress of Sauron, rising from the black land of Mordor like a spear of iron and stone. Around it, armies gather, orcs and trolls and worse things, creatures born of shadow and malice, all bending their will toward conquest and domination. The vision shifts again. He sees a great battle, though he does not know where or when. Armies clashing on a vast field, fire and smoke, and the terrible clash of weapons. He sees figures he recognizes. Aragorn, Gandalf, fighting against overwhelming odds, holding back a tide of darkness that threatens to sweep everything away. And then he sees himself, not as he is now, but as he might become. A twisted, withered figure clutching the ring to his chest, his eyes gleaming with the terrible light, his face gaunt and consumed by obsession. He sees himself becoming another Gollum, another creature corrupted and destroyed by the ring's power, living only to possess it, to guard it, to call it his precious. The horror of this vision strikes him like a blow, and he stumbles back from the mirror, gasping, his hand instinctively going to the ring where it hangs beneath his shirt. It feels heavier than ever, burning cold against his skin, and for a moment he is filled with a despair so complete that he cannot imagine ever finding hope again. Galadriel watches him, her expression unreadable. "What did you see, Frodo Baggins?" she asks softly. "I saw the Eye," Frodo whispers, his voice shaking. "I saw war and destruction, and I saw what I might become. She nods slowly. The mirror shows many things. It does not show what will be, only what might be. The future is not yet written, Frodo. You still have choices. The ring still can be destroyed. Can it? Frodo looks up at her, his eyes full of anguish. Lady Galadriel, you are wise and powerful. You know the histories. You understand the rings better than anyone. Will I be strong enough? Can I really carry this thing all the way to Mount Doom and destroy it? Or will I fail? Will I be consumed by it? Will everything I love be destroyed because I was too weak? Galadriel is silent for a long moment, gazing not at Frodo but at the stars above, as if seeking counsel from those ancient lights. When she speaks, her voice is heavy with the weight of countless years, countless sorrows. You ask me if you will succeed, she says, but I cannot tell you that, Frodo, because I do not know. The path ahead is shrouded even from my sight. The mirror shows possibilities, but it cannot show certainty, for certainty does not exist. The future changes with every choice made, every step taken. Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. She looks down at him then, and there is great compassion in her eyes, but also great sorrow. What I can tell you is this: you are stronger than you know. The ring is a terrible burden, and it will grow heavier with every mile you travel toward Mordor. It will tempt you, torment you, try to break you, and yes, you may fail. Even the greatest heroes of old have failed when faced with such evil. But you have something they did not. You have Sam, faithful Sam, who will not leave your side. You have friends who believe in you. And you have a quality that the ring cannot touch: your humility, your recognition of your own smallness, your refusal to claim power for yourself. That is your shield against the ring's corruption. She turns to the mirror again, gazing into its still waters. I have stood here many times, Frodo, looking into this mirror, seeking guidance, seeking hope, and I have seen many things, terrible things and beautiful things, endings and beginnings. But the one thing I have learned is that the future is never as fixed as we fear or as certain as we hope. We make our choices moment by moment, and the world unfolds from those choices in ways we cannot predict. She falls silent, and in that silence the soft sounds of Lothlórien surround them, the whisper of leaves, the murmur of water, the distant call of a bird settling in for the night. The glade feels removed from time, suspended in a moment of peace that will not last but is precious precisely because of its fragility. Then Frodo speaks, his voice hesitant but determined. Lady Galadriel, I know what I must do. I know I must take the ring to Mordor and destroy it, but I am so afraid. Not of the danger, not of the journey. I'm afraid of myself, of what the ring is doing to me. Every day it gets harder to resist. Every day I feel myself changing, becoming something I don't recognize. And yet you continue, Galadriel observes quietly. That is courage, Frodo, not the absence of fear, but the choice to go on despite it. I wish, Frodo hesitates, then continues in a rush, I wish I could give the ring to you. You are strong, much stronger than I am. You could use it, protect your realm, fight against Sauron. Surely in your hands it would be a force for good, not evil. And here, in this moment, the terrible temptation that has haunted Galadriel throughout the long ages rises up within her with renewed force. She could take the ring. It would be so easy. Frodo is offering it to her freely, removing even the moral weight of seizing it by force. She could slip it onto her finger, could feel its power flowing through her, amplifying her own strength 1,000-fold. She could make Lothlórien unconquerable, could extend its protection over all of Middle-earth, could defeat Sauron and establish a new order, a better order, ruled not by darkness but by light and wisdom. She would be a queen, terrible and beautiful, more powerful than any being in Middle-earth, save perhaps the Valar themselves. She would be loved and feared, admired and obeyed. All would bow before her, and she would rule justly, preserving all that is good and beautiful. ending all suffering and evil. But she has lived long enough to know the lie in such thoughts. Galadriel steps back from Frodo, and as she does, a strange change comes over her. The air in the glade seems to darken, though the stars still shine above. Her form seems to grow, to expand, to fill the space with a presence both magnificent and terrifying. Her eyes flash with inner light, and her voice, when she speaks, is no longer gentle but commanding, echoing with power. "You offer me the ring freely," she says, and her words seem to shake the very earth. "In place of a dark lord, you would have a queen. Not dark, but beautiful and terrible as the dawn, treacherous as the sea, stronger than the foundations of the earth. All shall love me and despair. The vision is terrible to behold." For a moment, Frodo sees what Galadriel might become. A figure of awesome power, radiant and merciless, bending all the world to her will. Even as a force for good, she would be overwhelming, inescapable, leaving no room for freedom or choice, only obedience and worship. And then, as quickly as it came, the vision fades. Galadriel diminishes, returning to her normal form, and suddenly she seems smaller, more fragile, almost mortal in her vulnerability. Her voice, when she speaks again, is soft and weary, touched with an infinite sadness. "I pass the test," she whispers. "I will diminish and go into the west and remain Galadriel." She closes her eyes, and for a moment she seems to sway, as if the weight of what she has just refused is almost too much to bear. For in refusing the ring, she has accepted the inevitable, the fading of Lothlórien, the end of her realm, the departure of her people. All that she has preserved for so long will slip away into memory and legend. But she has also preserved herself. She has remained who she is, has not allowed the ring to corrupt her into something monstrous. And there is peace in that choice, even amid the sorrow. She opens her eyes and looks at Frodo with renewed warmth, with affection almost motherly. "Do not offer the ring to anyone, Frodo Baggins," she says gently. "It is a burden that only you can bear, and only you must decide its fate. No one else, no matter how wise or powerful, can be trusted with it." Frodo nods, understanding now in a way he did not before. He has just witnessed the terrible allure of the ring, has seen how even the noblest heart can be tempted, can justify claiming its power in the name of good. And he has also witnessed true strength, not the strength to dominate, but the strength to refuse, to let go, to accept diminishment rather than corruption. "I will take the ring to Mordor," he says quietly. "I don't know if I can destroy it, but I will try. I will not give up." "That is all anyone can do," Galadriel replies. "Try and continue trying, even when hope seems lost. The world is full of darkness, Frodo, but it is also full of small lights, people like you and Sam, who continue on despite their fear, who choose kindness over cruelty, who refuse to surrender to despair." She reaches out and touches his forehead gently, a blessing, and Frodo feels a warmth spread through him, pushing back the cold weight of the ring for just a moment. It is not a permanent relief, but it is enough to give him courage for the next step, the next mile, the next impossible choice. The night deepens around them, or perhaps it has always been this deep, and they simply notice it now. The stars wheel slowly overhead in their ancient patterns, constellations known to the Elves by names long forgotten by other peoples. The mirror's water grows still again, reflecting only the starlight and the dark silhouettes of the melon trees. Sam has been standing quietly through all of this, watching and listening, not fully understanding everything that has passed between Frodo and the lady, but understanding enough. He sees the weariness in Frodo's face, the burden that weighs him down, and his heart aches with loyalty and love. "We'll see it through together, Mr. Frodo," he says softly. "Whatever comes, you won't face it alone." Frodo looks at his friend and manages a small smile. "I know, Sam, I know." Galadriel watches them both, these two small hobbits from the Shire, and she marvels at them. They are so small, so seemingly fragile, and yet they carry within them a strength that perhaps even they do not fully recognize, the strength of simple goodness, of loyalty, of the refusal to give up even when all seems lost. "Come," she says at last. "The hour is late, and you both need rest. Tomorrow you must continue your journey, but tonight, let Lothlórien give you what peace it can." They follow her back through the winding paths, through the golden wood that seems to glow faintly in the starlight. Neither Frodo nor Sam speaks, each lost in their own thoughts, their own processing of what they have seen in the mirror. For Sam, the vision of the Shire destroyed haunts him, but it also strengthens his resolve. He will complete this quest, will help Frodo destroy the ring, because that is the only way to protect his home and the people he loves. The Shire must be saved, whatever the cost. For Frodo, the visions were darker, more personal. He has seen his possible future, has glimpsed the corruption that awaits him if he fails to resist the ring's power. But he has also witnessed Galadriel's strength, her refusal of the ring despite its overwhelming temptation, and that gives him hope. If she can refuse, perhaps he can endure. Perhaps he can carry this burden to its end without being destroyed by it. And for Galadriel, walking ahead of them through her beloved forest, there is a strange mixture of emotions. She has passed her test, has refused the ring, and in doing so has accepted the end of her realm. But there is peace in that acceptance, a letting go of the struggle to hold back time, to preserve what cannot be preserved. All things fade, all things pass. Even Lothlórien, beautiful as it is, cannot last forever. The Elves are leaving Middle-earth, sailing west to Valinor, and soon she too will make that journey, will leave behind the land she has loved and shaped for so many long ages. But not yet, not quite yet. There is still time, still work to be done, still aid to be given to those who fight against the darkness. The mirror has shown its visions, and the choices have been made, but the story is not yet finished. In the days that follow, the Fellowship rests in Lothlórien, regaining their strength, preparing for the next stage of their journey. They are given gifts by the Lady and the Lord, cloaks that blend into the forest, ropes woven by elven hands, provision for the road ahead. And to each, Galadriel gives something personal, something chosen specifically for their need. To Frodo, she gives a small crystal phial, filled with water from her fountain. But within the water shines the light of Eärendil's star, the light of a Silmaril, one of the great jewels made in the elder days. "May it be a light to you in dark places," she tells him, "when all other lights go out." And indeed it will be, though Frodo does not yet know the circumstances in which he will need it. The terror of Shelob's lair, the darkness of Mordor, the moments when hope seems truly lost and only a small gleam of light stands between him and utter despair. The mirror itself remains in its glade, unchanged and unchanging. When the Fellowship has departed, when the glade is empty once more, the basin sits upon its pedestal, waiting. The stream continues to murmur nearby, flowing as it has flowed for countless years, feeding the flowers and grass, moving always toward the river and the sea. Sometimes Galadriel returns to the mirror, stands beside it in the quiet hours, and gazes into its waters. She sees many things there: the progress of Frodo and Sam as they make their way toward Mordor, the movements of armies and the schemes of Sauron, the slow fading of her realm as the power of her ring begins to wane. She sees the future approaching, inevitable and unstoppable. She sees the day when she will leave Lothlórien forever, when she will walk down to the Grey Havens and board a white ship bound for Valinor, leaving Middle-earth behind. She sees the trees of her forest standing empty, silent, as time finally claims them and they begin at last to age. But she also sees hope. She sees Frodo continuing his quest despite all obstacles, sees Sam remaining faithful to the very end, sees the forces of light gathering for one final stand against the darkness. The outcome is not certain, the future not fixed, but there is still possibility, still chance. And that perhaps is enough. Let us leave them there, in that golden wood, in that moment suspended between past and future. Let us imagine the starlight falling through the mallow leaves, casting patterns of silver and shadow on the forest floor. Let us hear the soft music of the wind and the water, the ancient songs that the trees remember. The mirror rests in its glade, still and silent, holding within its shallow waters all the vastness of time, past and present and future, all flowing together, all reflected in that single surface. It asks no questions and offers no answers, only shows what it will show, trusting those who look into it to interpret what they see, to make their choices, to walk their paths. This is the gift and the burden of foresight, to see what might come, to glimpse the shapes of possible futures, but to know that nothing is certain, that every choice changes the pattern, that the future is always being made and remade with every decision, every action, every small moment of courage or kindness or refusal to surrender. Galadriel understands this. She has lived through ages of the world, has seen empires rise and fall, has witnessed the slow but inexorable fading of her people. She knows that all things pass, that even the most beautiful and perfect realm cannot last forever, that time claims everything in the end, and yet she continues. She preserves her realm for as long as she can. She offers aid to those who fight against evil. She holds back the darkness for just a little while longer, giving others the time and space they need to complete their quests, to make their choices, to determine the shape of the future. This is not a battle she can win, she knows that, but it is a battle worth fighting nonetheless. Because every day of preservation, every moment of beauty and peace, is valuable in itself regardless of how long it lasts. Think of the mirror now, in the quiet of the night, the water clear and still, reflecting the stars. Those stars have shone for ages beyond counting, since before the Elves awakened, since before the world was young. They will continue to shine long after Lothlórien has faded, long after the last of the Elves has departed, long after all the stories and legends have passed into myth and then into silence. But that does not diminish the importance of this moment, this time, this small glade in a golden wood where a mirror sits waiting. Every moment is precious precisely because it does not last. Every choice matters precisely because it shapes what comes next. Every small act of courage, every refusal to give in to despair, ripples outward in ways we cannot predict or measure. Frodo and Sam will continue their journey. They will face terrors and wonders, will endure hardships that would break most people, will come at last to the fires of Mount Doom and the final test of their strength and their will. The mirror has shown glimpses of that future, but it has not shown the end, because the end is not yet written. Galadriel will continue to watch and to wait, will continue to preserve her realm for as long as her strength allows, will continue to hope even as she accepts the inevitability of loss. And when at last the time comes for her to depart, she will leave with grace and dignity, carrying with her the memories of all the long ages, all the beauty and sorrow she has witnessed. The mirror will remain even after she is gone. Perhaps someone else will come to it, will look into its waters and see visions of their own possible futures. Or perhaps it will sit empty and unused, slowly being reclaimed by the forest, until even the memory of Retry continue its purpose fades into legend and then into silence. But we are not there yet. Not yet. For now, the mirror remains a place of power, a threshold between what is known and what is possible. It does not judge those who look into it. It does not promise salvation or threaten doom. It simply shows, reflects, reveals, and then leaves the burden of interpretation to those who have gazed into its depths. This is perhaps the truest wisdom, not to control the future, not to force events into predetermined patterns, but to see clearly, to understand the possibilities, and then to let go, to allow others to make their own choices, to trust in the capacity of even the smallest and seemingly weakest to change the course of the world. Galadriel has learned this lesson over long ages. She has the power to dominate, to control, to shape events according to her will. But she has chosen instead to guide, to advise, to offer aid without compulsion. She has chosen to diminish rather than to grow in power, to fade rather than to rule. There is profound courage in this choice, perhaps more courage than in any battle, any heroic deed. To willingly let go of power, to accept the ending of all you have built and preserved, to walk away from the possibility of eternal dominion in favor of humble mortality. This is a strength that few possess. The night deepens around Lothlórien, though in this realm night never brings true darkness. The stars shine brightly, and the flowers glow with their own soft luminescence. And the mallow trees seem to hold light within their leaves, so that the forest is always filled with a gentle, dreamlike radiance. In the high flets among the branches the fellowship sleeps, each wrapped in their own dreams and their own thoughts. Aragorn dreams of the crown that awaits him, the destiny he has spent a lifetime preparing for. Legolas dreams of forests and seas, of the eternal longing of his people for the western shore. Gimli dreams of caverns of glittering crystal, of beauty beyond imagining found in the depths of the earth. And Frodo dreams of home, of the Shire in springtime, of flowers blooming in the gardens, and the smell of fresh-baked bread drifting from hobbit holes on a warm afternoon. But even in his dreams, he feels the weight of the ring, cold and heavy against his heart. And he knows that such peace is far away, perhaps forever beyond his reach. Sam lies beside him, his sleep deeper and more restful, for Sam's heart is simpler, his purpose clearer. He will protect Frodo, will follow him to the end of all things if necessary, and that certainty gives him a peace that Frodo cannot know. And Galadriel, does she sleep? Perhaps not. Perhaps she stands somewhere among the trees, looking up at the stars, remembering the days when she walked beneath the light of the two trees, when the world was younger and full of wonder, before sorrow and loss had taught her the true cost of living, the true weight of time. She thinks of the mirror, of the visions it has shown over the years. She has seen the fall of kingdoms and the rise of new peoples. She has seen the slow corruption of power and the quiet heroism of simple folk. She has seen her own choices reflected back at her, the decision to leave Valinor, the decision to remain in Middle-earth through all the long ages, the decision finally to refuse the ring and accept the fading of all she has built. Were they the right choices? She does not know. How can anyone know when the consequences of our decisions ripple outward through time in ways we cannot predict or control? All she knows is that they were her choices, made with the best wisdom she possessed at the time, and she must live with them, must accept their outcomes, whatever those outcomes may be. There is a kind of freedom in that acceptance. Once you have truly let go of the need to control, to preserve, to make everything turn out as you wish, you can simply be present in each moment, can offer what you have to offer, and then release it into the world, trusting that the larger pattern will unfold as it must. The mirror understands this too in its own way. It does not try to change what it shows. It does not withhold difficult visions or display only pleasant ones. It simply reflects what is, the full complexity and uncertainty of existence, all the branching paths and possibilities, all the potential for both triumph and tragedy that lives within each moment. To look into the mirror is to confront the fundamental uncertainty of life, the reality that we cannot know what will happen, cannot guarantee any particular outcome, no matter how much we plan or hope or strive. It is to see ourselves clearly, not just as we are, but as we might become. in all our potential glory and all our potential corruption. This is a terrifying gift. Most people, if offered the chance to see their future, would refuse, would prefer to walk forward in ignorance rather than carry the burden of foreknowledge. And perhaps they would be wise to do so, for knowledge of possible futures does not make the path any easier. It only makes us more aware of all the ways we might fail, all the terrible consequences that might follow from our choices. But for some, like Galadriel, the mirror is necessary. She must look into it, must see what is coming, because she bears responsibility for more than just herself. The preservation of her realm, the protection of her people, the aid she can offer to those fighting against the shadow. All of these require her to see clearly, to understand as much as possible about the forces moving in the world. And yet, even with all her wisdom, even with all the visions the mirror has shown her, she cannot control the outcome. She can only do her part, make her choices, offer what she has to offer, and then trust that it will be enough. Listen now to the sounds of Lothlórien in the deep of night. The wind has stilled, and the forest is quiet, wrapped in a profound peace. The river murmurs softly, a constant presence. The sound of water flowing ever onward toward the sea. Somewhere in the distance an owl calls, its voice echoing through the trees, a hunter patient and watchful, attuned to the rhythms of the night. The flowers continue to glow faintly, their light unwavering, requiring no sun, no fuel, sustained by some quality of the realm itself, some grace that flows through all living things here. They are beautiful, these flowers, but their beauty is touched with melancholy, for they bloom in a place that is passing, a realm whose days are numbered. Everything beautiful is temporary, everything perfect contains within it the seeds of its own ending. This is not a tragedy, it is simply the nature of existence in mortal lands, where time flows forward, where change is inevitable, where nothing can be held forever. The elves know this better than any other people. They are immortal, bound to the world until its ending. And yet they have watched everything they love fade and pass. Their kingdoms fall, their great works crumble, their songs are forgotten. They themselves do not die, but the world they knew dies around them, again and again, until they can bear it no longer and must sail west, must leave Middle-earth behind and seek peace in Valinor, where time moves differently, where loss is not so keen. Galadriel has postponed this departure for ages, has clung to her realm in Middle-earth even as her people dwindled and the shadow grew stronger. But she knows the time is approaching when she too must let go, must board a ship and sail away from everything she has built, leaving it to fade into memory. The mirror has shown her this future, has shown her the empty forest, the silent trees, the glade where her fountain once stood, now overgrown and forgotten. It is a sorrowful vision, but also in its way peaceful. For even in ending there is beauty, even in fading there is grace. Think of the water in the mirror now, so clear and still. It holds the starlight on its surface like a promise, like a benediction. The stars do not change, do not fade. They are constant, eternal, witnesses to all the ages of the world. They shone upon the first awakening of the elves, and they will shine upon the ending of all things. There is comfort in that constancy, even as everything else changes and passes. The stars remind us that there is something larger than our individual lives, our individual sorrows. The story does not end with us. The world continues, the great patterns continue to unfold, and we are part of that unfolding, even if our part is small, even if we cannot see the whole design. Galadriel looks up at the stars often, seeking in them the reassurance that her choices matter, that her long vigil has not been in vain, and the stars in their silent way answer her, not with certainty, not with promises, but simply with their presence, their steadfast light shining down through all the darkness. She remembers the light of the two trees, which was brighter and more beautiful than any starlight, a radiance that filled all of Valinor with joy and wonder. But the trees were destroyed long ago, and only the stars remain, distant echoes of that first light scattered across the sky like memories. Yet even these echoes are precious. Even this diminished light is enough to guide travelers through the dark, enough to give hope to those who might otherwise despair. The mirror reflects the stars, holds them in its shallow basin, as if cupping them in caring hands. And in that reflection, the stars seem closer, more accessible, as if by looking into the mirror, one might reach up and touch them, might grasp that eternal light and draw it down into the world. But no one can hold the stars. They remain distant, untouchable, shining on regardless of our wishes or our needs. And perhaps that is right. Perhaps some things should remain beyond our grasp, should continue in their own patterns, unaffected by the small dramas of mortal and immortal lives playing out below. The fellowship will leave soon. Morning will come, though morning in Lothlórien is not like morning in other lands, for the sun is gentler here, filtered through golden leaves, and the transition from night to day is gradual, soft, like waking from a pleasant dream. They will descend from the flets, will gather their belongings, will accept their gifts from the lady and the lord with gratitude and wonder. They will walk down to the river where boats await to carry them south along the Anduin, toward Rauros and Amunhen, toward the breaking of their fellowship and the beginning of the final stage of their quest. Galadriel will watch them go, will stand upon the shore with Celeborn beside her, and she will sing a farewell song that brings tears to the eyes of all who hear it. The melody will carry the weight of all her sorrow, all her hope, all her love for these brave souls who carry the fate of Middle-earth with them into darkness. And then they will be gone, the boats disappearing around a bend in the river, and Lothlórien will seem somehow emptier, though nothing has changed, though the trees still stand, and the flowers still bloom, and the stars still shine. This is the nature of farewell, that something is taken from the world, some presence that made it brighter, and we are left to continue without it, carrying the memory in our hearts. But the mirror remains. Long after the fellowship has departed, long after Frodo and Sam have completed their quest and the ring has been destroyed, long after the War of the Ring has ended and a new age has begun, the mirror will still be there, in its quiet glade, waiting for what? Perhaps for nothing. Perhaps its purpose is complete, its great moments already past. Or perhaps there will be others who come seeking vision, seeking understanding, seeking some glimpse of what might be so they can better navigate what is. The mirror does not judge who is worthy to look into it. Galadriel makes that choice, but the mirror itself is neutral, indifferent. It will show its visions to hobbit or elf, to king or commoner, to saint or sinner. What they see, what they learn, what they do with that knowledge, these things are beyond the mirror's concern. It simply is, it simply shows, and in that simplicity there is a kind of perfection. In the deep quiet of the night, if you listen very carefully, you might hear the water in the mirror, not flowing for it is still, but somehow present, somehow alive, in a way that still water should not be. It whispers of things that were, of battles fought long ago and lovers parted by time and distance. It murmurs of things that are, of struggles happening now in distant lands, of small heroisms and quiet sorrows. And it hints at things that might be possible futures branching out like the limbs of the Malon trees, each one leading somewhere different, each one dependent on choices not yet made. And this is the song of the mirror, a song without words, without melody, but present nonetheless, if you have the ears to hear it. Galadriel hears it. She has heard it for ages beyond counting, has learned to interpret its subtle shifts and changes. She knows when the waters grow dark with warning, when they shimmer with hope, when they remain stubbornly obscure, revealing nothing clearly. But even she, with all her wisdom and experience, cannot fully master the mirror. It remains ultimately mysterious, a creation of her own making perhaps, but one that has taken on a life of its own, that shows what it will show regardless of what she might wish to see. There is wisdom in this too, in creating something and then letting it go, allowing it to be what it is, rather than trying to force it into a predetermined shape. The mirror is most valuable precisely because it is not entirely under her control, because it shows truth rather than comfort, possibility rather than certainty. The night wears on, though in Lothlórien it is hard to measure time, hard to say whether hours have passed or only moments. The stars wheel slowly overhead in their ancient dance, turning around the pole, marking out patterns that the elves have watched since before the moon rose or the sun first shone. And slowly, imperceptibly, the quality of the darkness begins to change. Not yet dawn, dawn is still far off, but a subtle shift, a lightening, as if the night has reached its deepest point, and now begins gradually to release its hold on the world. This is the hour of quiet reflection, when even those who do not sleep find their thoughts turning inward, when the boundary between dream and waking grows thin. This is the hour when visions come most clearly, when the mirror shows its truest pictures, unclouded by the brightness of day or the distractions of ordinary life. If Frodo were to return to the mirror now, what would he see? Perhaps the same visions as before? The eye, the darkness, the corruption that might await him? Or perhaps something different, something new, some glimpse of hope that would give him strength for the trials ahead. But he does not return. He sleeps, and in his sleep he is granted a different kind of vision, the dreams that come unbidden, that rise from deep within our own hearts, rather than from external sources. And perhaps these dreams are wiser in their way than anything the mirror could show, for they come from his own deepest self, from the part of him that knows, even if he does not consciously realize it, what he must do and who he must be. And Sam, loyal Sam, dreams too. He dreams of gardens, not the ravaged Shire he saw in the mirror, but the Shire as it should be, as it will be again if they succeed. He sees himself among the flowers and vegetables, his hands in good clean dirt, tending and nurturing, helping things grow. It is a simple dream, a humble vision, but it contains within it everything that is worth fighting for: home, peace, the quiet contentment of useful work and love freely given. This is Sam's strength, that he knows what he fights for, knows it with absolute clarity, not abstract ideals or grand ambitions, but simple, concrete things: his friends, his home, the garden he tends with such care. These things give him the strength to continue when Frodo falters, to carry hope when Frodo can carry only the ring. The mirror showed Sam the potential destruction of everything he loves. And rather than breaking him, that vision strengthened his resolve, clarified his purpose. He will not let that future come to pass. He will see this quest through, will help Frodo destroy the ring, will return to the Shire and plant new trees to replace those that were cut down. This is the gift that the mirror gives to those who can bear it. Not certainty, not comfort, but clarity. It strips away illusions, reveals the true stakes, shows what will be lost if we fail. And for some, like Sam, that knowledge becomes fuel, becomes determination, becomes the fire that keeps them going when all seems lost. The stars are beginning to fade now, just slightly, as the first hint of dawn approaches. The darkness is still deep, but it has lost its absolute quality, has become something that will soon yield to light. In the glade where the mirror rests, nothing has changed. The water remains still and clear, reflecting what few stars can still be seen through the canopy of leaves above. The basin sits upon its pedestal, patient and unchanging, as it has sat for year upon year upon year. How many have looked into it? How many visions has it shown? How many futures has it revealed? Some that came to pass, and some that never did. The mirror does not remember. It has no memory, no consciousness, no awareness of its own existence. It simply is a tool, a window, a threshold between the seen and the unseen. What those who look into it make of their visions, how they use or ignore the knowledge they gain, is not the mirror's concern. And yet, if the mirror could feel, if it could know satisfaction or sorrow, perhaps it would be satisfied. For it has served its purpose, has shown what needed to be shown, has helped those who needed help to see more clearly, to understand more deeply, to make better choices. Galadriel created it for this purpose, not to control the future, but to illuminate the present, to reveal the hidden currents that flow beneath the surface of events, the forces and possibilities that shape what is to come. And now, as dawn approaches, as the Fellowship prepares to depart and continue their impossible quest, the mirror's role in their story is complete. It has shown them what they needed to see. The rest is up to them. Frodo carries with him now not just the ring, but also the knowledge of what he might become, the vision of his own potential corruption. This knowledge is a burden, but also a gift, for it makes him more watchful, more aware of the ring's influence, more determined to resist. Sam carries with him the vision of his home destroyed, and the fierce determination that it will not come to pass, that he will protect what he loves no matter the cost. And Galadriel carries with her the memory of her refusal, the moment when she passed her test and chose diminishment over domination. This memory will sustain her through the fading of her realm, will give her peace as she finally boards the ship that will carry her west, away from Middle-earth forever. The mirror has done its work, and now it rests, empty and still, waiting for whoever might come next, waiting for the next seeker who needs to see beyond the veil of the present into the misty realm of possibility. Let us leave it there, in that quiet glade, in the golden wood of Lothlórien. Let us imagine the water in the basin, so clear and still, holding within its shallows all the vastness of time. Let us hear the soft sound of the stream nearby, feeding the mirror with fresh water, always flowing, always new, even as the visions it shows reflect patterns ancient and enduring. The dawn will come, the sun will rise and filter through the golden leaves, turning the forest into a cathedral of light. The Fellowship will depart, and their boats will carry them south toward destiny. And Galadriel will remain, watching over her realm for as long as she is able, preserving this pocket of peace and beauty in a world torn by war and shadow. But eventually, she too will leave. The power of her ring will fade when the one is destroyed, and Lothlórien will begin its long, slow dissolution. The trees will age at last, will shed their leaves and grow bare. The flowers will wither, the flets will fall into disrepair and eventually collapse, claimed by time and weather. And the mirror? Perhaps it will remain longest of all, the basin still sitting on its pedestal, the stream still flowing nearby. For a while, travelers might come upon it, might wonder at its purpose, might look into its waters and see what? Their own reflections, ripples and shadows. Or perhaps, for those with the sight to see, visions still, echoes of the power it once held, glimpses of possible futures still branching out ahead. But eventually, even the mirror will fade. The basin will crack and crumble, the pedestal will fall, the stream will shift its course, will carve a new path through the glade, leaving the mirror behind. Moss and vines will cover the stones, trees will grow where once the glade stood open to the stars, and then there will be only memory, stories told by those who once walked in Lothlórien, tales of a golden wood where time moved strangely, where a lady of great power and wisdom dwelt, where a mirror showed visions of things that were and things that might be. But memory is not nothing. Memory is how we preserve what has passed, how we carry forward the lessons and the beauty of ages now ended. The stories we tell shape who we become, give us models of courage and wisdom, remind us that others have faced impossible odds and persevered. Long after Lothlórien has faded, long after the last elf has sailed west and no living being remembers the light of the two trees or the sound of Galadriel's voice, the story will remain. The story of a mirror that showed truth of a lady who refused ultimate power, of two small hobbits who looked into the water and saw visions that both terrified and strengthened them. And perhaps that is enough. Perhaps that is all we can hope for. That our choices matter, that our struggles have meaning, that even when everything we build eventually crumbles and fades, the story continues, passed from voice to voice, generation to generation, carrying forward something essential, something true. The stars are fading now, true dawn is approaching. Soon the first light will touch the tops of the Lothlórien trees, will turn their leaves to molten gold, will banish the shadows and the quiet mystery of night. But for now, for just this moment, the darkness holds. The mirror rests in its glade, the water still and deep. The stars, faint now but still visible, shine down upon that surface, and the surface reflects them back, creating a moment of perfect symmetry. Above and below, heaven and earth, the eternal and the temporal, all connected, all one. This is the gift of the mirror, to show us that everything is connected, that past and present and future flow together like streams joining a river, that our choices ripple outward in ways we cannot predict or control, affecting events and people far removed from us in time and space. We are all part of the story. We all contribute to the great unfolding pattern, whether we know it or not, whether we intend to or not. And sometimes, if we are very fortunate, we are given a glimpse of that pattern, a momentary vision of how our small part fits into the larger whole. This is what the mirror offers. Not certainty, not control, but understanding. A chance to see more clearly, to comprehend more deeply, to make our choices with greater awareness of their potential consequences. And then, having seen, we must let go. We must release our grip on the future, must accept that we cannot know how things will turn out, must trust that if we act with courage and wisdom and love, the pattern will unfold as it should, even if not as we hoped. The water is still, the glade is quiet, the stars fade as dawn approaches, and somewhere in Middle-earth, a small hobbit sleeps, carrying a terrible burden, facing an impossible task. But he does not face it alone. He has friends who believe in him, companions who will sacrifice everything to help him succeed. He has the memory of Galadriel's refusal, her example of strength through surrender, and he has, tucked safely away, a small phial of light that will shine when all other lights have failed. The mirror has shown him his possible futures. Now he must walk forward and discover which future he will create through his choices, his courage, his stubborn refusal to give up, even when hope seems lost. This is the story that the mirror tells, reflected in its still waters beneath the stars, a story of endings and beginnings, of loss and hope, of the terrible burden of choice, and the quiet heroism of simply continuing on, one step at a time, even into darkness. It is a story as old as time, and as new as each dawn. It is told in the rustling of leaves and the flowing of water, in the light of stars and the turning of seasons. And it will continue long after the mirror has crumbled to dust, long after even the memory of Lothlórien has faded into legend. For stories like Starlight endure. They carry forward through the darkness, illuminating the path for those who come after, offering guidance and hope, and the promise that even the smallest person can change the course of the future. Rest now, weary traveler. Let the vision fade. Let the water grow still once more. Let the stars wheel overhead in their ancient patterns, marking out time eternal and unchanging. The mirror has shown what it will show. The dawn is coming, and all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Sleep now and dream of golden woods beneath starlight, of clear water reflecting ancient truths, of choices made with courage and journeys undertaken despite fear. Sleep, and let the story continue in your dreams. The mirror waits, patient and eternal, for the next soul who seeks to see beyond the veil. And the stars shine on as they always have, as they always will, bearing witness to all our struggles and all our triumphs, holding in their distant light the memory of everything that has been and the promise of everything yet to come. Softly now the tale draws to its close, like a gentle tide receding, leaving only peace and starlight in its wake.